The floor was lowered down a foot.
There were about 4 days of heavy rain. Half of our basement floor was about half an inch to an inch of water.
There should have been an interior weeping tile system. This is look at this. I'm pissed right off. This is absolutely ridiculous. We have electrical on the plugs, we have electrical on the lights with way too many lifelines. It's actually quite dangerous. These guys should be out of business. They shouldn't be in this business. Man, we're seeing all kinds of things. This is not just a leak. Like, did they actually do this right? No, they didn't. You want a good traffic? You can't chase. Okay, contractor. God, I love my job.
Well, essentially we wanted to create more living space for ourselves without moving. So we decided to look into dropping the basement floor because it wasn't high enough for anyone over 5'6" to stand up straight.
The floor was lowered down a foot. All new studding, all new plumbing, all new electrical. It should be a simple, straightforward job.
We had made a few phone calls. We had several people come in and look at the basement and give us quotes on the job as well. And he came at a decent price. And was recommended.
Seemed to know what he was talking about. Based on what we'd heard from other people, he used all the same terms and explanation for what needed to be done. So
they got 3 different quotes from different contractors, ranging from $15,000 right up to $55,000. They settled for $15,000, the lowest price.
Given that he came with a recommendation from a place that we frequent often, we thought it sounded pretty good.
Lowering a basement, underpinning the wall, to the point of studying electrical plumbing is probably in the area of about $30,000.
About 2 weeks after the job was finished, there were about 4 days of heavy rain, and on the second day of that we came down and found a few small puddles along the wall. And of course, as it rained for another 2 days, they just kind of grew and melded together until we had a continuous half of our basement floor was about half an inch to an inch of water. The first couple days of rain came in all along this wall, pretty much right to the back, and there was some along the front as well.
Did you notice the water coming down the underpin?
In the bathroom area we did. You could watch it. We have on paper a guarantee that we will not have any water problems for 2 years from the day of completion. So of course, as soon as the water started coming in, Jeff started calling him, and from that point on it was a series of leaving him 2 or 3 messages a day for a week, and we've never heard from him.
This is a common problem. This happens quite a bit. A lot of people out there are going to call in, a lot of contractors that really don't know what they're doing. What did they say about an interior weeping tile? Did they say anything about that?
We had specifically requested that be included, and he said, no problem, no problem, no problem. Then once the cement was gone and it was just dirt, he said, we've done a moisture test of your soil, you don't need it. So
we've done a moisture test of your soil. What type of moisture test did you do? There should have been an interior weeping tile system all the way around, tied back into the drain, and then it just goes outside. It's a black, sort of like egg carton, okay? And it'll come up the wall, it'll wrap over the edge and continue up. And the idea for this is that if it does leak, it comes in behind it, down into the floor, and down into the weeping tile. You'll never have water in the basement. It just continues to go out. The coating on the wall, this is absolutely incorrect. This is an outside product, an exterior product, and not an interior product. It's full of chemicals. We do not want this on the inside of the house. What this is going to do is repel water rather than letting the wall absorb it and naturally letting it breathe and dry up.
We did ask for references, which he gave us, and we spoke to them by phone, but we didn't go and see the jobs, and it was only 2, which clearly isn't enough.
These contractors, they don't care. It's not theirs. You know, let's get in here, let's do the work, let's go home, and not my house. As soon as we look at it, we can see that the drain happens to be the highest point of the floor here. Now, water is not going to flow to this, is it? I think it's probably a good idea to maybe stand here just in case it is a little wet in here, but there is no backflow preventer, so if ever the water system had flooded outside, the water would come up in here.
Right.
Simple $20 item, a backflow preventer. I bet you didn't even mention it to you.
No.
Did you get a permit on this job?
No, absolutely. He was very much the opposite, encouraging that we do not require a permit for this job.
You need a permit to lower your basement. You need a permit for any electrical. You need a permit for the plumbing. In actual fact, you need 3 permits here. So I don't like the study at all. What we see right off the bat is we have no king studs and no jack studs by the window. Let's structurally do it right. Just to stud this around the window the way I see it is very sloppy. This should have been continued up from the bottom plate right up to here. I don't like it that they built it so far away from the wall here. How did you intend to, insulate this? You want to put a bad insulation in between the studs with so much insulation in the back? There should have been a small knee wall. So we're going to build a small 2x4 wall here. Then we'll curve it in and bring the wall as close as we can to the existing wall. I want to talk about this electrical because I don't like what I see. There is no wire clips to the board whatsoever. You don't have wire hanging out like this, and it's not clipped in. All these boxes up here are junction points. Can you see that? There's another one. There's another one. Here, I see them all over the place. Legally, you can't close that in. So you're going to drywall over this. You're going to close in junction points that have to be accessible. So what he should have done was clean this right up. Take it all out, bring it, wire it direct to the panel. When the inspector came in, he's going to say, since this is open and you're doing work, I want this old knob and tube gone. Knob and tube is old aluminum wire, which they run a hot line throughout the house and then a common line throughout the house. Look at these wires here, right over the front of the plate, the top plate. What are you going to do? How are you going to drywall that? And these are live, What are you going to do? No good. Look at this. I'm sorry, I didn't even try to pull that down, okay? I just actually tried to move it. This is not a way to close in ductwork. What's these holes in the ducts that I see?
Oh, that's his idea of our heating vents. He told us part of the contract was to have heating vents into each of the rooms, and that was what we got.
You don't punch holes here. This is garbage. This is absolutely no good. This has got to come down. What we're going to do is we're going to take down all this studding, this waste of lumber, unfortunately. We're going to redo all this. We're going to cut open the floor, and we're going to put in an interior weeping tile system here. We're going to bring in a licensed electrician, and we're going to clean all this wiring up. We'll bring it back. You can take a look at it and see how it should have been done in the first place. We'll make it right.
Okay.
Next one. Thanks. See you soon. All right. This strapping is actually good, absolutely good for nothing.
It was pretty much a continuous flow of water all along the outer border of the house.
Should be a simple, straightforward job.
Came at a decent price.
They took the lowest quote. We're going to redo all this. We're going to cut open the floor, and we're going to put in an interior weeping tile system here. Okay, we'll move the drywall over here, we'll move the door. We're going to take down all this studding. We're going to leave the studding up around the furnace. If somebody wants to start taking down this, that's fine, that's got to come down. This strapping is actually good, absolutely good for nothing. Look at this one's not even nailed. Yeah, I love that, it's not even nailed. Not even nailed. I guess they forgot that one. I'm pissed right off. This is absolutely ridiculous. I've traced down the electrical here, and all I'm finding is live lines everywhere, improper junctions. It is shorted against the panel. You see that? You can see where it just touched the metal here and it's shorted. With the wiring, that's pulling very tight against the L16, and that can create a short. That's why it has to be clipped so close to the box. Just hanging down. Live connections, live connections. 3 more over here. Improper junctions. And this is supposed to be finished. We have electrical in the plugs, we have electrical in the lights, with way too many live lines. It's actually quite dangerous. This is bad. This is a guy that just come in, get $800 cash, whatever he charged, and get the hell out. These guys should be out of business. They shouldn't be in this business. Man, we're seeing all kinds of things. This is not just a leak. First thing we need to do is jackhammer open that floor. Dig down about 12 inches and get ready to put in that weeping tile around the outside of the wall.
So let's go up 12 inches down from here. Yeah.
stone and some concrete sand to make a mix for downstairs.
We're gonna use this in the basement for the weeping tile. But we gotta do it by hand, we can't get the truck in there.
About the rain, we want to get it on the plastic and get it covered before it rains. We don't want this concrete sand getting wet. Keep it nice and dry. We're a little delayed. We got the rain happening here. We wanted to get this weeping tile in, and I think we're going to wait a bit to see if it stopped. Honestly, I am a little bit down because it's as if this couple in this house has attracted all the bad contractors. How can a contractor screw somebody like this and close his business and then in the very same day open up in a new name and just continue to do it to somebody else? Definitely a blessing in disguise that they did not have this job finished. We would have actually had to pull everything down to do this again. John McRae, the gentleman doing the specialist on the waterproofing, is a real pro. Do you believe how bad this is? Can you see this?
Well, it's pretty quickly done. Not much experience here, that's for sure.
What do you think about the underpinning?
People should never be doing stuff like this without building permits. An inspector would have came and said, nope, sorry, can't be done, not going to happen. And far too often when contractors are working under those circumstances where there is nobody else watching them, they will do stuff like this.
It's still called weeping tile, but it's not in tile sections anymore. And it's totally changed now. It is a long plastic tube covered in a sock. And this sock helps keep the dirt out. And this filters out the debris from getting inside and just allowing the water in, which ties right back into the drain and goes out through the system. And we'll cut it in about 28 inches.
28?
Yeah. We're laying in the plantain, which is the A-carton black. It's called plantain. And what this is going to do is grab the water, bring it behind the underpinning and down to the weeping tile, which will really give us what we need. A flood-free basement. We're going to drill it, pilot drill it for the concrete nails rather than smash the concrete nails in. If we pilot drill it, it helps keep it from cracking. It just holds it in place. We'll backfill it with a little bit of dirt just to level off the weeping tile system throughout the perimeter. Then we'll fill it with 3/4 crushed gravel stone, and this will act as a drainage bed to get into the weeping tile to allow the water to track out through the drain. Look what they did about it. They did not glue downspout. You sons of... This is the drain of the shower. Well, because this is not glued, it would constantly, as it's draining, it would constantly back leak into the floor. I don't believe that. Cementing, a lot of guys will just backfill it and be rather sloppy about it because they really don't care about it. They know that it's going to be covered with carpet, ceramic. But let's be serious. If you just smooth it out and tie it into the existing floor, it looks a hell of a lot better. Keep it wet. And you're going to blend it in.
Oh, I see.
So we have a nice joint, okay? Walkway outside, I would like to recommend to them to pull up the walkway because a lot of the walkway actually runs into the house, so when it rains and comes off the east trough, it's going to pour down and against the house, and you want to direct the water away from the house. Sure, I would definitely recommend to them that they regrade it with new cement. There is a drain out there, so if somebody comes in between the two houses and pours in a new pad, they'll just actually pour it in so that it's valleyed towards the center and it runs the water to the drain.
Is this how they left it? They don't seem to have used any connectors at all anywhere. Just pretty typical of some of the garbage.
Guys, we have 1 hour and a half before the clients get here. Much better side wall. This is exactly what we want to show. We definitely want our crowns out on the outside wall, and we want all our crowns the same way. If we don't have them the same way, we have a crown out and a crown in, we end up with a wall that goes like this.
Estido.
Thanks for coming, Sandy. I think you're going to be a little bit surprised on this. Let me just take a look here. What do you think?
Wow. Like a lot of concealed boxes here. Is this how they left it?
Yeah.
There are no connectors. We'll have to take all these boxes out. Get them all accessible. Take it out, clean it up, make sure everything passes.
Does it look like a mess to you?
Yeah, this guy wasn't doing his job. Well, we want this to be on the breaker side. Right? There shouldn't really have any connections in here except for the ground. Really, the consumer shouldn't be in this end of the panel. Shouldn't be in this end either, really, but they don't seem to have used any connectors at all anywhere. No, he definitely hasn't done this to meet code. This is pretty typical of some of the garbage you see. Especially the way this guy's done it with no grounding. If a box becomes energized, you're the route back to ground, right? So you can get electrocuted. We'll have to basically start tearing out a lot of the wiring that's here just to find out where it's going. We don't know what's on there now. Typically, a lot of these old homes, they would have 2-3 circuits. That would do the whole house. Right, and we want to meet the code. We don't want any more than 12 devices on that circuit. See this fellow here, where he did ground, he didn't use connectors, and that connection can come loose after a few years.
That's not a bungee cord. Is that a bungee cord? Wow, that's got to be new. Guys, we have 1 hour and a half before the clients get here. We got to go on the move. The range of quotes were anywhere from $15,000 to $55,000. If I were quoting this job, it should be in the area of about, I'd say $30,000 for the structure, the plumbing, the electrical, and it would have been ready for them to drywall. No surprises. There would have been no access panels anywhere in the way. The client wants to finish it themselves to save some money, so they're going to do the drywall and all the priming, plastering, and painting. If we were to do the whole job, you're definitely in the $50,000 range. My job's to go in, put in a new interior weeping tile system, take out all that old studding, put in some new studding, fix all the electrical and prep it so all they have to do is drywall. I think if we all stay on the move, they'll walk into a clean, finished basement. There's no further, Derek. We'll get going on the cleaning. Honestly, I think we're going to be flabbergasted. This is a big difference. This is not just a small difference. This is large. Done. 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 I need one more nailing it, Sean, when you're done over there. I'm extremely happy with the install. Put a few pros together and you'll see it done properly. If I'm happy, I know that they're going to be happy. Come on down and take some of this. Now this is what it should look like. Oh yeah. Much better. Is there a difference?
Look at that. It's drywallable.
That's great. It is. It is. Is that neat or what? And this gentleman over here is the best guy in the world. Sandy, Jeff and Lorraine.
Hi, Sandy.
Sandy, how you doing? This man saved your electrical bill.
All the little wires that were coming out of them.
Everything was pulled from the panel, the whole house. And, it was all rerouted and done properly.
Wow. We had to leave some junction boxes where you'll have to leave an access hole here. Why you put all the junction boxes in the front?
The new concrete that we poured here is a different color than the existing, and that's only because it's still curing. It takes approximately 30 days for it to cure. Behind our curving section here, we have the plankton which comes up and runs in behind. So when the water does, if it does come in, it comes down behind the plankton, down underneath and then is absorbed up into the weeping tile, and it just goes right into the drain. The bathroom, we had leveled and squared your walls. We give you proper doorways, which we have a king stud, a jack stud, and a proper top. Well, you're ready for installation, vapor barrier, and away you go to drywall. Now you know at least
It's not on a pulley anymore.
no way.
I'm just speechless.
Yeah, this is unbelievable. It's a totally new basement now.
Yeah, no, thank you, Mike.
You are welcome.
You have saved us.
It's been a pleasure coming here and helping you, I must say.
We're very lucky. Excellent.
Honestly, like to all of you, we're just
Yeah,
and
this is
grateful.
awesome. This is unbelievable.
Oh yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome. God, I love my job. Just standing there and watching them smile. That really just makes my day.
Overwhelmed, hugely relieved. We had no idea what the scope of the problem was.
This could have been covered in. And the craziest thing about this is, had these dummies have put in an interior weeping tile system, nobody would have known that the electrical was totally wrong. We're talking about an electrical problem that could have, and more than likely would have, burnt this house down to the ground.
That's the biggest shocker, I guess, is it was bad enough to find water coming in the basement, but now I'm just disgusted and scared by how bad it really was, and we really never would have known.
I think it's very important to get a permit because in a way, if you want to look at it, you're getting a second opinion. Your contractor is telling you one thing, where an inspector will tell you the right thing. If you don't like the way your job is going, if you think there's something wrong, you can call the government to come and inspect the job. Just because the contractor didn't get it, understand this. The contractor is responsible for the permits, not the client. And if you want to save some grief, get a permit.